Trapped beneath all the smoke that was without fire, that teams are going to try and trade for Vikings head coach KOC, according to Jay Glazer. And in his defense, I do think that report held merit, that teams outside looking in see KOC going into the final year of his contract. 3 years in, the Vikings have had much success, but is he going into a lame duck season? Why doesn't he have a contract extension? Let's check in with the Vikings just in case something's going on. And if something is going on, we can try and trade for him. But I say it's without fire because the Vikings were never going to trade KOC, as this video is brought to you by BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. Also, according to Mike Florio, that there is tension between KOC and the Vikings organization. These reports circulating around like wildfire, there's the fire right there, suggested that something was about to happen, that in one way, shape, or another, that KOC was going to be gone. But we knew all along that an extension was going to happen, and it's official, according to Tom Pelissero and Ian Rappaport, and a statement released by the Vikings organization themselves, that the Vikings and KOC have agreed on a multi-year contract extension, and also reportedly by Rapp and Tom Pelissero, that talks are currently underway with GM Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah. So shortly he'll get an extension as well. But the details with KOC's extension is currently unknown. 3 years in, double-digit wins 2 out of your 3 seasons, plus 2 playoff appearances. The 1 year you went under double-digit wins, you lost your starting quarterback. Those are the results that you got from the first contract. Now, what's left to be desired? Obviously winning a championship. But sandwiched in between those two things, what we've seen from KOC's first 3 years on the job, as well as Super Bowl aspirations, in between those two things are postseason wins. You got to win in the playoffs. 2 playoff appearances, 0 playoff wins. Has he reached the mountaintop, KOC? No. But is it worth exploring for a second contract with what he's done already to see if he can get over the hump? Absolutely. And if you start winning in the playoffs, then we can start talking about a third contract. New customers at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino get a 150% bonus on your first deposit up to $2,000. Promo code YouTube150. And now that we're done with the KOC contract talk and we can finally move past all the drama that was reportedly afoot, how does the rest of the coaching staff look? Well, Brian Flores, it's looking like he's going to stay in Minnesota for at least another year because he interviewed with the Jets, the Jags, and the Bears. And we know he's not getting the Bears job because the Bears hired offensive coordinator from Detroit, Ben Johnson, which makes sense for Chicago when you consider what he's done over with the Lions the last 2 years and how he made Jared Goff look like an MVP candidate. That play calling, one of the best play callers in the league, that play calling is going to go to Chicago, and he's going to try to work his magic with former first overall pick Caleb Williams. And for the Jaguars, they have now moved on, scheduling their second interviews for their head coaching jobs with Bucs offensive coordinator Liam Cohen, Raiders defensive coordinator Patrick Graham, Robert Saleh, and not Brian Flores. And as it pertains to the Jets, reports point to the Jets being all in on Aaron Glenn. So why is Brian Flores being left out? 2 reasons. The first is the Tua story, which was first rehashed by Tua himself back in August on the Dan Le Batard show, as well as Ryan Fitzpatrick a few weeks ago on his podcast. And when I first saw both of these things circulating around the internet in real time, I said, come on, man, it's been 3 years since he was the head coach with the Dolphins. Can't we move on? But in fairness to Tua and Fitz, that was their personal experiences. Those are the lasting images, memories that they have of Flores as their leader, that evidently he was a jackass. Number 2, his pending lawsuit against the NFL. And that is the game within the game. That is the game of politics. That is not enough to just be good at your job, that you also have to fall in line with the outside noise as far as how your potential employer is going to view you. So, objectively speaking, since his time in Miami, Brian Flores has been on two different teams. From those two teams has gotten nothing but rave reviews. And you see the impact that Flores has had on this Vikings defense, that he deserves another opportunity to be a head coach. But you're suing the NFL owners. So why would the NFL owners reward you during that time with the highest ranked position in the locker room? It's just not going to happen. I'm so glad that I don't work in corporate America anymore, because I just want to work, fulfill my duties, and go home. But it's not that simple. You got to play the psychopolitics. If I want to eat in my office with the door closed at lunch, don't come to me and say, why don't you want to eat with the rest of us in the lunchroom? Huh? It's because I don't want to talk to you, Frank. And then if you don't do that, then, oh, well, Randy's clearly not being a team player. We're a family here. No, we're not. But that's the game within the game. We saw it with J.C. Tretter back in 2022, the first year of this new regime, where it's like, hey, J.C. Tretter, he's a free agent. We need to sign this guy. I'm so sick and tired of Garrett Bradbury. He's a good player. And you know what? I don't know why, because he was at the time the NFL Players Association's president. So that's the politics right there. No. We're not interested in you, J.C. Tretter. Garrett Bradbury gives us the best chance to win. Really? And unfortunately, I do believe that this is something that is going to stick with Flores until the end of time, no matter how many players since Miami have stuck up for Flores. When the Tua clip aired on the Dan Le Batard show back in August, I want to say it was the very next day when it was circulating all around the internet and the press wanted to ask Brian Flores, hey, what's your reaction to that? The very next day, that presser, Josh Metellus and Harrison Phillips stood right next to him in unison to show their support for Brian Flores. All right, listen, Tua's experience, it sucked. I feel bad for him, but that was 3 years ago. Look at what all the other players are saying about him right now. Nope, doesn't matter, don't care. As a human being, I feel bad for Brian Flores, but as a Vikings fan, selfishly speaking, this is great. It looks like he's going to be the Minnesota Vikings DC forever, which we all welcome with open arms. Yeah, you know what? He should be lucky that he's still in the league right now after suing the NFL owners. Who does this guy think he is? Yo, Brian Flores, I think you deserve a second opportunity. You're getting royally screwed here. I can't believe the audacity that he has to think that he deserves to be a head coach again. I guess we'll keep him in Minnesota forever, but we're not happy about it. Thanks to the folks at BetUS Sportsbook and Casino. We'll see you next time.